Hi guys, this is Billy from AdultCello.com, and today I want to share a practice tool I've made for you. I was inspired to make a practice journal for those of you who enjoyed my recent video series on how to practice cello for adult learners. My design allows you to focus on achieving weekly goals by constantly strategizing for the immediate future. And for us adult learners, I believe that figuring out how to maximize our results while practicing is the #1 factor in determining our trajectories as players. So I want to dive into my practice journal with you because I designed it to be used in a very specific way. The design is actually inspired from my own experience of keeping a practice journal for years. I've experimented with tons of different methods on my own, all with the hope of giving myself that extra edge. And while there have been times it really helped me, there were also times I think my method of journaling actually was counterproductive. I believe my mindset became more and more about quantity of practice rather than quality. It felt like I was just punching in my clock card to go work a shift in the mines or something. I designed this journal to help you work towards weekly goals, but to still have flexibility regarding your daily practice sessions. In my experience, this is critical. So another mistake I made in the past was scheduling my whole learning process out down to the minute, and as a result, I often felt rushed in my learning process and the final result suffered. So let's take a look at the journal. On the sheet, you have 8 boxes that represent the 7 days of the week and a bonus box at the beginning for weekly goals. Let's start there. So in the goals of the week box, you're first going to decide on the tasks you will be working on for the week. These can be certain scales, etudes, assigned pieces, orchestra parts, or more general aspects like vibrato or string crossings. Next to the task, you can put a ballpark amount of minutes you plan to devote every day. So for example, let's say you're going to spend 10 minutes a day on a scale, 15 minutes a day working on learning a new short etude that explores shifting, and 5 minutes a day on some bow hand flexibility exercises. Now, in the lines below each task, you want to write down a specific goal for each one. For a scale routine, you might put down something like 4 notes per bow, very legato. Or for the etude, the goal might be play with separate bows in tune and at tempo. The point is to think of something concrete you can work towards so that you avoid simply practicing each piece. If you plan on playing that shifting etude at tempo 6 to 7 days from now, you will need to form a plan and an efficient one if you're going to get there. In terms of goal setting, I like to tend towards being unrealistic in my expectations, so maybe try imagining what you think would be reasonable and then make your goal 2 steps further. It's a good way to see if you tend to underestimate yourself. However, if you tend to be hard on yourself and a bit of a perfectionist, maybe try setting reasonable goals that will motivate you because you're able to reach them. It all depends on what gets you going. So now we've blocked out our goals for the week and a rough daily breakdown of how much time we're going to practice each task, and therefore how much total time we'll spend practicing each day. So now you will ideally fill out each day of the week right before practicing. You'll think about each task and where you are in the learning process, and then you will write down what phase of the process you're going to work on. Pizzicato, 1 note per bow, etc. And if it's more than 1 practice method per task, how much time you plan to spend on each mini task. So before you even sit down to practice, you will have mapped out what you're going to work on and for how long. As an example, for the shifting etude, you might see if you can pizzicato at a slow, even tempo through the etude by the end of Monday's practice. If that works out, then you can move forward on Tuesday. If not, then you will repeat that step of the process each day until it feels totally ingrained. So this is where the flexibility I mentioned comes into play. If the pizzicato phase is taking longer than expected to feel comfortable, give it time. You want to plan your day's work based on where you left off the previous day. It's kind of a delicate balance between charging towards a goal and being honest with yourself about how solid each step truly is before proceeding to the next. It kind of reminds me of Billy Crystal's character in Princess Bride. He says, "Don't rush me, Sonny. You rush a miracle man, you get rotten miracles." And best of all, maybe the greatest feature of the whole practice journal, boxes to check off once you've finished your task and your day's practice. I'm a list maker, box checker kind of guy, and I get great satisfaction out of finishing a task and marking it off. I really hope you decide to try this journal. It's a great way to take your practicing to the next level, and if you stick with it, at the end of the year, you will also have a comprehensive record of all the work and progress you've made. I've made it into a downloadable PDF that you can print out, and it's available on my website through the link below in the description. Regardless of what you want out of your cello journey, learning how to practice is essentially an art form in itself, and through experimentation, you can learn more about who you are and how you learn, what makes you bored, and what helps you thrive. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much.